Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Vlad Arakcheyev with us, and Vlad has come from being a graphic designer to working in commercial real estate. He now owns and works with different syndications and has hundreds of units at this point. So it's great to have you, Vlad. I just want to hear the story of how you got from graphic design into commercial real estate.
Thanks. I really enjoy being here, and it was quite a journey. It started during COVID. I got furloughed and eventually pretty much cut because I was a graphic designer, and apparently it's non-essential. And we figured, my wife and I, she actually pushed the idea, and she goes, "Well, what do people need and cannot live without, right? So housing." So she goes, "Why don't you try being in real estate and just sell houses here locally in New Jersey?" And I was very much against it. It was definitely out of my comfort zone. I didn't know how to, I didn't know anything. But I started studying. During COVID, it was just everything over Zoom, and nobody went in person. So I've taken the test, passed, started selling houses here locally in Jersey. Market was very good, and then slowly started flipping, doing some wholesaling here and there. And ultimately, the ultimate goal was passive income, right? Because I didn't, if you lose your job, you have no income. So I'm thinking, okay, I need something that will guarantee me pretty much income, right? Making your money work for you. And that's rental. So I got one, or I should say we got one in Cherry Hill, that's by Philadelphia. And it was going well, but ultimately we figured you can't really scale that much with single family. So we joined a mastermind, a multifamily mastermind, and went to tons of conferences all around the country. That was pretty much, I would say, a year after that. And uh, the life really changed after I seen, so many people are doing great things in real estate and just totally crushing it. So I do still residential sales here in New Jersey. And of course, I focus on commercial as well. So it's kind of a 50-50 for me, and I really enjoy working and doing both.
So you also run a property management company?
Yeah, so in many cases, actually in a lot of them, before we use third-party property management. I'm not going to say it's bad because a lot of people use it. We just figured that, you know what, it like the deals could have been running better, more efficiently. And it can be anything, when you use third party, I just feel like it's like a boss employee relationship. They just, the care in some cases were not there. Few things were missing. Like I was sitting for 3 weeks auditing the whole property management, the books and receipts, and I found so many holes and mismanagement, and it's just issues. So instead of continuing that, we figured, hey, listen, let's open up our own property management company, and we did. And in many cases, we well, in what, seven syndications, we are self-managing. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the other ones are just kind of out of the way because our primary market is Kansas City and the Carolinas, but we also have few properties in Bradenton, Florida, and that's out of the way. So we use third-party management there. It's going well. Could be going better, but yeah, well, but we are in the process of selling it now, so I'm not going to say anything other than that. But yeah.
That's good. So what property management software do you use?
You know what? We have several. Basically we communicate with Trello, and we have what do you call it? What's that popular one? I can't believe it's slipping right.
Yardi or Buildium or Yardi? No.
Yardi. That's
Great.
it. We started on that. We changed a few, and but there's so many out there. My suggestion is just look what fits you, and make sure that it's easy and everybody can communicate seamlessly, because if there is some sort of an issue with communication, which is arguably a number one thing, it's the thoughts and everything should be flowing freely. And if you really have difficult time communicating between the GPs, partners, or management team, there will be issues. So yeah, pick the one that fits you well. Listen, some folks use, they use Google Sheets, and it works great for them. So you don't have to overcomplicate things, as long as it works efficiently. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's great. So how many syndications do you have now?
9.
9. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
right
we
now,
have some JVs as well. The
mm,
smaller ones, like we have 40 units in Kansas City. That's a joint venture. The property in Bradenton, it's a JV as well. And there is another one. We own student housing in South Carolina. So that's a smaller one also. It's 40, what is it, 48, I think, 48 beds. That's a JV. All the other ones are syndications.
so just for the audience's sake, explain the difference between a syndication and a JV.
Yeah, so in joint ventures, basically, all the everybody is a partner, right? Everybody um, takes responsibility and works on a project, right? So you get paid for working on a project. So you have to do some sort of task. You can't just coast, or you shouldn't anyway.
Right, right.
When it comes to syndications, you have GPs, or general partners, and LPs, limited partners. So the GPs, they find the deal, they operate it, they know how to underwrite it, they know how to run it. LPs, on the other hand, limited partners, they come into the deal, but they're not responsible in running it, right? They, for example, invest alongside us. I would say minimum investment can be anywhere from 50,000 and going up. It just depends on the size of a raise, or it depends on the size of project, but they're limited partners, so they're not running it. They're not active day to day. We report to them monthly. We pay them distributions quarterly in many cases, sometimes monthly. It just depends on each deal, but in many cases it's quarterly, but they're hands off, right? So if you have the money and you don't care to run the deal, you just looking to, let's say, get distributions, get some sort of tax benefits, LP is the way for you. But if you want to be hands-on and run actively, be in the trenches, call and things like that, then a GP or a joint venture might be a good path for you. But don't forget, it's a full-time job. So if you have another job, it might be very difficult to balance both.
So give us an example of some of the jobs that you would have if you were in a JV situation.
Yeah, you know what? Like for example, for the last month, I was literally looking at receipts and comparing them to spreadsheets just to make sure. So I was doing the books. For example, if something goes bad, there's a flood or whatever, you have to call contractors, get bids. If you live close to the property, you should drive out and walk it to make sure. You have to deal with tenant problems. If, for example, if this clogged toilets, or I was called that because there was like raccoons running on the roof, or yeah, no joke, I can't make
Yeah.
that stuff up. There's like hot water issues. I mean, you have to deal with it. Of course, you have red collection, etc. So it's not all pretty stuff that you see on Facebook, people standing in front of a building, and saying, wow, look at that thing. But you really have to be in the trenches, really be as active as possible, because that's how you earn your paycheck. Yeah.
So how many joint venture partners would you have versus in a syndication?
Yeah, so I would say you should not have more than 5 JV partners. Anything over 5, in my experience, I mean, of course it differs. In my experience, the deal just kind of lingers, right? So what happened is, instead of uh, instead of running it efficiently, people dump responsibilities onto others. So I would say five is good because each person has a specific strength. Like for example, on our team, literally just giving you an example, a person that's really good at accounting, a person that is an attorney. So he reads all the legal documents. Me, for example, I know how to negotiate. I know how to speak with contractors and things like that. So I work on that thing. We have a person that's boots on the ground, and if something's happening, I speak with him, and he goes to the property and makes sure that the work is being done correctly. So each person has its own responsibility in what they're doing on the team. So it's I would say about five is a good number. Syndication, well, that's a little different. So you can have multiple GPs and even more limited partners. You might have 10, maybe even 15. It just depends on a raise and depends on the check size. So if, like for example, if you have a family office or some sort of like a wealthy individual and he's stroking you a check for let's say a few $1 million, then it'll be much less. But if you are raising 50,000 a pop, then you might have more LPs. Yeah. And you need a really, really good management software. For that, you do.
Oh yeah, okay, because
Yeah,
you got a lot more people involved, and you got to
yeah,
do
yeah,
distributions, and it just becomes much more complicated to put
yeah,
that together. And
yeah,
usually
for tax purposes and stuff like that. Yeah.
those are bigger deals, right? Tip.
Absolutely, yeah. Typically, like for example, a joint venture can be the one in Florida was 1.4 million. The one in Kansas City, I believe we bought it a while ago, like 2.7 million. But the typical syndication can be 10 million, 20. The largest we've done was 32 million.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So we get into all the deals. GPs put about 10% of their own money into the deal. You got the loan, or seller financing or some sort of creative ways of buying deals nowadays because of the rates are fairly high, and the rest can be raised from limited partners.
So how much equity are you typically putting into a transaction?
You know what we basically it varies because in some cases where you can do a deal, I don't know, creatively. Like
Mm,
last few deals, the previous owners were
mm.
just like, hey, listen, I'll give you a seller financing, or you can assume a loan. Last deal, we assumed a loan, which is amazing. We assumed 2.4% loan.
Whoa.
Up until 2027, well, we were blown away. It took a while to get the loan assumption. It was a total pain. It took like 6 months. Literally, it took 6 months. But I mean, it was totally worth it because the deal works. Just because of this. So it just varies. But we're trying to be, let's say, not over leveraged because a lot of folks who were grabbing, deals back in the day, just getting like what 80-90% leverage. We try to be at 65, somewhere around there, and not go over that number. It just going to be really conservative.
I'm surprised that the bank actually allowed you to refinance. I'm sure the bank wanted you to, uh, you know, be in a new loan versus refinance.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the person who was selling it, they were going underwater. So
Ah,
we literally were doing him a favor. Yeah, he wasn't doing well. The thing is he that's where we come in. His properties were clustered in one area, and was just like a complete satellite somewhere out there, and he wasn't managing it correctly, so he's really failing. It was a good property, but he wasn't managing it correctly. So we struck a deal with the lender
ah.
and him. Yeah, so it was a win-win for everyone, and lender still is very happy because right now we improved it a lot and it's cash flowing well.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you were able to come in and basically save a property from
Pretty much.
foreclosure, and the
Yeah,
bank was happy to get a new owner in there.
yeah,
to really manage it properly. So the bank now is very happy, it sounds
Oh
like.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they're getting paid. They
Yeah.
know the we have occupancy, I think at 94% or something like that. I have to double check my numbers. But yeah, it's going very well. Absolutely.
How many units is that
It,
trend?
it, wa- it, wa- it wasn't huge. It's 68.
That's
But
pretty
the
big.
it is, but still, we're trying to go a little bit higher than that. But the only reason we were interested in it is because it's literally right next door to our other property, so we
Ah,
can use the same team to manage both.
oh,
So
that's
it's a
better.
win-win. Yeah, we didn't have
Yeah.
to go out of our way, so we're gonna save a lot of money on management.
Oh yeah. No, that's fair. How many units do you have next door?
Next door wasn't wait, hold on. It was 102, 104, 104. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, where is this property?
It's in Kansas City. Well,
Yeah.
that's one of our major markets. We love Kansas City. We're buying there very actively.
No.
I just like, I guess, the safety of Midwest. It's not as crazy as, for example, as Florida or Texas.
Yeah.
We used to look in Houston, but it's coastal insurance is just going absolutely through the roof. Natural disasters, flooding, and hail and freezing and similar situation in Florida. So we really don't like these crazy ups and downs and jumps. Midwest, you call them steady Eddie, where you have kind of boring 5% growth. But we like it because it works. It's, make it as simple as easy as possible. Rinse and
Well,
repeat.
and it sounds like you try and buy kind of the worst property in the best neighborhood type approach.
Well, we used to, yeah. We really like 1990s product.
Mm,
Now we try not to go too value add on because
mm,
the construction is just too expensive nowadays, and
ah,
the prices themselves, if you look at B class versus C class, for example, they're very similarly priced. So it just doesn't make sense. Like we got 1972 building, and when we purchased it, it was going well. But uh, a little after that, we discovered that the foundation was leaking, and
uh,
yeah, we didn't know it wasn't fixed correctly. Then the wall started to like bulge out a little bit
oh
because of
no.
that, and part of the building started to sag.
Oh no.
So yeah, the thing is, things like that happen, and we put some money into it, fixed everything, installed drainage all around it, lifted up the building, so everything is perfect. I mean, that building is 100% occupied. It's 40 units, 100% occupied. It's going fantastic. The rents were $600, and now they're 950. So it's a great property, but things like that happen with all the properties. So in order to avoid this, we're just kind of going for the newer stuff. It's just kind of safer, we feel, and also it's easier sell to an investor, right? When you show a beautiful property to them versus or a nice plan versus an older one. Yeah.
So it's not really value add you're looking for, but you obviously are looking for some kind of upside in
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the rents should be roughly 20% below market rents.
ah,
There should be some sort of value add-on opportunities. Like for example, you can have covered parking or dog parks, or you can have outside recreation areas that you can do. Of course, you have utility build-back system you can utilize RUBS. You can do. Let's say a lot of people asked for electric vehicle charging stations, things like that. So you can charge extra for that. And of course, you have moving in fees and pet fees and things like that. And so there's tons of things that you can do to add value onto the property.
it sounds like you mastered that value add scenario so that you can give your partners and your JV people a much better upside to the value of the building.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. It's all about a team, right? It's everybody. We get on a call once a week, and we talk about each property, and we discuss what needs to be done. Like for example, you can do cable upgrades or smart thermostat, right? So it's a win-win. Everybody wants, like, let's say a Nest or something like that in their apartment. So it's great, and they're willing to pay a little extra for it. At the same time, we save money because the thermostat actually is pretty smart and it adjusts heating and cooling. Also, you can utilize special rebates when it comes to water.
Mm.
So there's several ways, or actually multiple ways of trying to save money, and of course, or you can do, like for example, another thing that's really cool, security and safety systems,
Mm.
right? You can put
Right, right.
cameras everywhere and gates and things like that. So they really like it. The most important thing is we care for the tenant, right? So nobody wants to, like, I look at it this way. It's just pure and simple. Would I want to live there? So if I walk in and I see everything dark and bushes all over the place and stuff is outgrown and there's some stuff dumped in the corner or something like that, I wouldn't feel comfortable. So we're trying to lighten up the place. We put lights and we put, so it would just be presentable, right? So that I'm just kind of looking at what I live there. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy thing to do.
Yeah, so you're looking for properties that are 20% below market in terms of rent, and
Yeah.
then adding some value to the building that isn't terribly expensive. And then all of a sudden you can get full market rents or maybe even better than full market rent.
Yeah, not only you have normal growth, let's say of 4 or 5%, right? Plus you have that upside or cushion of 20%. Plus you add value. So there's a lot of money that you can kind of you can yeah, you can utilize a lot of strategies in order to buy. Listen, you can buy A-class property, right? And you think, oh, okay, it's all done. There's nothing to do there. There's always stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
You can do like beautiful gazebos and pool areas and things like that. You can do parking and charging, and there's so many strategies that you can utilize to improve a property and of course make it better. I mean, you can hold it longer. You can refi it year three and hold it and steal cash flow. So there's tons of strategies out there. My suggestion is get a mentor. That's a really really good thing. Don't try to figure it out by yourself. You can use YouTube or whatever, but being a men be but connecting with a mentor is awesome because, like, I'll give you an example. If I'm in Jersey, how can I buy properties in Kansas City or Dallas, like for example,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah.
You can't. How are you going to connect with people over there? They're not going to know you. They're not going to trust you, and it's going to take years to develop that relationship. But if you're in a mentorship, you're already like part of the community. They
Mm.
take you as you're one of them, right? So that accelerates everything, right? So I always tell this analogy. I snowboard, right? So if you go up on a mountain, don't take any lessons, and you try to go down the mountain for the first time, you're gonna fall down, you're gonna break an arm or something like that, and it's gonna be a horrible experience. But if you're gonna take a lesson, pay him $200 or whatever it is, you can pretty much go down the mountain within a few hours. So that's how it is. You just pay and you pay a mentor or connect with a mentorship group, and you're going to learn fast. I think you know the results will be you'll see the results much faster.
It sounds like you've found some very good mentors over the years.
Yeah. I interviewed quite a few. It's good to interview. Make sure that you align with their vision, with their goals, and make sure that you will get a lot out of them, right? So because they're a lot of money, right? Some folks charge 5, 10, 20, 50,000, right? So it's a lot of money. It's a huge investment. So make sure that you, what they have what you're looking for and vice versa, that they can help you, right? So I interviewed a lot and ultimately I joined Jake and Gino. It's a multifamily mastermind community back in the day, and they helped me out tremendously. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like people should come to you now to get a little mentoring.
You
done.
know what? There's so many mentors out there that just started or started with me and doing mentorship. But I believe they don't have enough experience. They just experienced this crazy growth during COVID, and now a lot of people are struggling because they really don't know. They never went through this full cycle, right? So
Right.
the real estate flows in cycles. So right now we kind of, I would say we hit the bottom already. We recovering slowly. But we thought faster, but whatever. It's all political stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. But I think a good mentor should have few exits, multiple exits, or sales of their properties, and they should go through a full cycle, right? The ups and downs and everything. It's very good to interview and see what their track record is, what results do they typically get? Like, do they have any foreclosures or issues, or I don't know, um, some sort of like just go through their whole background, go through their whole resume. That's really important because you don't want to just throw away your money.
No, right. Yeah. So that brings me to the interesting question. If somebody wants to exit from your particular ownership, how can they do that?
Well, our typical hold is 5 years,
Hmm.
right? So we did hold the property for 3, and we exited. So typically in a syndication, once you're in it, you in it. You have to understand that once you get into a syndication, you have to be there, or you should be there for the whole hold period. So typically it's 5 years. That's why before taking somebody's money, you have to make sure that it's um, it's not their last money, that they don't really need it to live on, right? So
Right.
and the money that can be invested varies, right? You can invest retirement accounts like self-directed IRAs,
Mm.
Roth, traditional HSAs, they're self-directed. So you can all invest in the syndication. Of course, you have 1031 exchanges, and a lot of syndicators take 1031s, which is an awesome thing. It basically defers tax. Um, and also, of course, cash, right? If you have money sitting in, savings account, and what do you, what's the yield, 5% or something like that?
The most, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Our target is 20 IRR, plus you get tax benefits, so it's a win-win. It's a huge upside, I believe. Plus, don't forget you have compounding of money.
Mm.
Let's say if you hold till year 3, then you refi, and get, let's say, 50 to 80% of your money back. You can get
Mm.
into a new deal with that money and
Right.
still cash flow on property number 1, and use the same money pretty much on property number 2, and start cash flowing from property number 2. So you compounding your money. So basically, $1 earns you 3, 4, maybe even $5, which is just unbelievable. It's awesome. Real estate
So,
is wonderful.
so if you refinance, you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you potentially either take or reinvest.
Well, the thing with taxes, everybody's situation is different, and I'm definitely not a CPA, and you should speak with one. But at the end of the year, we issue profit and loss statement. They call K1s.
Right.
In
Right.
typically it's a loss. So any gain that you made throughout the year will be offset. Any passive gain will be offset by this loss. So ultimately, if let's just take away W-2s or any other income, if you take passive gain versus the loss will just wipe that gain. So on paper, you will pretty much be at zero.
So if you do a 1031 exchange,
Yeah.
does a partner have the option to either stay in and go with the 1031 or bail out?
It depends on the operating agreement. So what happened is, if you do a 1031, they have to create this TIC structure, tenants in common structure,
Mhm.
right? When it comes to a syndication. It's quite of a difficult process, but we take care of everything. And what happened is it's a normal hold. In some cases, yeah, you can continue rolling the money. Some folks don't want to do that, and they can take that money and do whatever they want. Okay, or recently I learned a pretty cool thing that you can take a partial 1031, right? So you can, like, for example, do I don't know, let's hypothetically say 50% 1031 and roll that into one deal and take 50% as a payment. So I don't know him personally, but I've heard from my CPA and others that a few folks have done that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's cool. So,
Yeah.
Vlad, I think there's plenty of people out there that want to invest in your uh, communities, in your apartment deals. So, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm all over social media on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I have a YouTube channel. It's kind of cheesy, my YouTube channel. I like motorcycles, so it's called Wheels and Real Estate Deals, right? Like I go on an appointment, and meanwhile I kind of do a vlog, or I kind of talk about my motorcycle, and at the same time I talk about real estate. So I kind of combine two of my passions, motorcycle and real estate. So yeah, you can look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there. I don't post anything negative or anything sad or anything like that. I don't do negative news or down. I like to be as upbeat as possible because there's just a lot of negativity out there. So I'm trying to change it up and lighten people's mood. So yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I look forward to talking to you again in 6 or 12 months and see where things are leading you.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And I'm sure in 6 to 12 months, it will, the whole market and everything will improve even more with the changes that are coming. We're very, very excited, especially the depreciation and everything. So it's going to be fantastic.
All right. Well, let's look forward to that and we'll talk to you soon.
Of course. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.